and the greatest position of all time. Alright, guys. Let's do this as we kick off into our best of 5 grand final. To the bottom right-hand side, our red Protoss player from Cascade is DnS. And to the top left, our blue Zerg is going to be Nerchio. But that was the Fratellis, not Kate Nash. Well, if you listen, Corvus, you would understand what I said. What I said was, I put on a Kate Nash radio, which means that it put songs on similar to Kate Nash, and it played that song, so I listened to it and I liked it. So Kate Nash helped me find it, hence Kate Nash is the best. Duh. Tier 2 subs have access to the lobby chat, and whoever thought of that grand idea. I mean, you can also just join the lobby chat, it's not that hard to find. These guys are going huge on the introduction. As they get going in these early stages. Hey guys, wanted to ask you how you determine ranks in SC2. All players equal in almost all aspects. What sets apart a good player from another? Newbie here, just getting started into StarCraft. So, well, I mean, there's just so many skill caps in StarCraft 2. There's just so many things you can do better and well. I mean, there's just so much. I mean, to very simply break it down, there's like macro and micro. So macro is how well you manage your economy. Micro is how well you can control your units. There's so much stuff, you know, how well you can scout things, how well you can understand your opponent's builds, how well you can respond to things. There's so much to improve at in StarCraft 2. There's minimap awareness, there's straight up speed and ability to multitask. There's so much you can do to improve in StarCraft. As we go into this and look to see what's going to happen. Link speed coming up. Obviously, we've seen a little bit of PvZ today then. Some from Nerchio, some from DnS. So we actually get to see how these two styles will collide. Nerchio is playing Lingbane Hydra back on that Acid Plant game against Creator. He's trying to play... He's playing Lingbane Hydra on Catalyst as well, but that was a bit of a weirder game. That was a very weird game, to be fair. Anyways, we are getting into this and just looking to see how things will go. As we do see a single Adept is just going to be shading on forwards. It's going to be coming towards the front here as we do see a Queen in position, able to push that Adept back. Overlord, it gives you that vision to see into the bush. And we're all going to be having the Adept just not able to do too much at the moment. And shading behind this little bush now towards the third base. We do have a couple of Queens on the way out, and we do have the Ling speed about 20 seconds from completing. And we're still just sort of waiting here to see what DnS is going to go for. No Stargate so far, and as he adds on an extra gateway, it doesn't look like it will be a Stargate. Ooh! Okay, so this is triple gate. So this is probably actually going to be a Stargate, but not just one Stargate, but 2 Stargates. This is a build which DnS has been enjoying doing lately, so 2 extra gates coming down, no tech structure is very weird. It's something you don't really see anymore. But it's because he wants enough units to be able to go into double Stargate safely as a follow-up. It's a fun little way to open. Love this, by the way. The weaker Adept shades behind the stronger Adept, so just to keep it safe. Doesn't want to leave the door open, or potentially allow the door to be opened by some Zerglings attacking. 2 Stargates come down then, so he is going to be going into the multiple Phoenix opener here. This ability loves on Backwater especially, because now you already have 2 Stargates up. Then on a map like Backwater, where you very typically end up going in towards a carrier build later in the game, and in towards carriers late game, because the map just sort of lends itself to that with the easy to take bases. As you get towards that, you will generally be able to set up in such a way that kind of just allows you to have a very good time. I mean, how do you describe it? Just a very good time, I suppose? Like, yeah, I mean, you just have a very good time against... Just have a very good time against, you know, going into that, because you already have 2 Stargates up, and you already have +1 air weapons as well, so it just makes that transition later in the game more fluent, more powerful. And obviously all of that is big positives on the side of the Protoss player. First, your Debs are just trying to apply some pressure. It forces Zerglings, and, you know, while the Phoenix, you know, will be able to deal some damage at a later point, right now, if there was nothing to force Zerglings, Nerchio would already be on 70 drones. He'd just be laughing his way to such a strong position that the Phoenix won't then actually do anything meaningful at all. These things are going to come in for the surround. They will get a surround. As we do see the few Adept shading back up to the top side. Going to be coming in to try and take this watchtower, which they'll be able to do. As the Ling's still hunting for that surround, though, and will be able to get one more Adept, but the Shades away are just coming in just in time to save the majority of them here. So, the depth's being saved for the moment, and we are going to be seeing another couple of Phoenix continue to come out here for DnS, so more Phoenix coming through. Meanwhile, a Hydra's den comes down from Nerchio in the main base. A DnS is also dropping down, about halfway done. And more of these Zerglings of Nerchio just out in the center of the map. Phoenix coming in, and Overseer will get picked off. So, Overseer going down. And again, DnS going to come off over to the left-hand side of the map. So keep up the pressure, keep up the damage, see what else he can do. Obviously wants to try and get as much damage done as possible, and already that Overlord taking a few hits here. Does go down, so Overlord falls. We're going to see now a couple of drones starting to be picked up, and some damage starting to be dealt here. GC and Imitas Carapace coming up on the main base, so it's also coming through right now. A couple more Hydras on the way out, melee upgrades starting up on the Evolution Chamber. And again, the Phoenix just coming forwards, able to pick off an Overlord at the front here now. Nicely done so far. What's up, Beastie Cutie? Thank you so much for the host. 340 viewers coming through. How you guys doing? Welcome to the stream. We're casting the grand finals of the WardiTV Weekly Season 4 Finals. And it's a $300, $100 split between first place and second place. And this is best of 5 that's just started up, so you're really just joining us right in time. So hello, welcome. Hope you guys had a great stream with Beastie. And thanks for joining us, and thanks to Beastie for the host. Twilight Council going to be coming up in a moment or two for DnS, as we're going to be seeing a few more gateways currently just building. DnS pulling back in towards the natural, and we are going to be having Groove Spines currently on the way up from Nerchio on the Hydra's den. So Groove Spines coming through, the melee upgrade coming in as well. So going to be playing Lingbane Hydra, and a melee upgrade, a really big indicator of that, of course, that he's going to commit to that. Obviously, yes, he had a Baneless down. Sometimes you could argue maybe that's just for defense purposes right away, and he'll just kind of focus on Ling Hydra and maybe taking it more quickly. But in this case, Lingbane Hydra really has become the flavor of the month once again. We actually really had kind of players preferring roaches, faster lurker plays, and all this sort of thing for the last couple of months. But this month, it looks as though we're going to be seeing a lot more Lingbane Hydra all over again. So that style, that composition, which was so popular back in the, well, since the big patch, is once again picking up speed despite the double upgrades being needed for the Hydras, in the sense that Muscular Augments are split into 2 upgrades. The Muscular Augment itself, which is the speed now, and the Groove Spines, which is the range. So we're just going to be seeing the Temple Archives as being Corona boosted, but I don't think he's really looking for too much. Again, so far he's built up these Phoenix early game, and what they allowed him to do is really just buy himself a lot of time. They fly around, they deal a lot of damage, they're very efficient. Look at the resources lost, 1,700 right now to 500. Stack it up a little bit here as he loses a couple of Phoenix, a little bit. Well, I suppose a few too many Phoenix lost, I think, actually. He loses, what, like 5 of them here in the end? So it's still kind of efficient. That's the idea of the Phoenix. They're efficient, they can kill drones, they can harass while it gives DnS time to just set up on his 4 bases, move into a 5th base, and again, as they're kind of valuable later in this game, DnS will almost definitely make carriers, and when he makes them, he already has 2 Stargates, he already has the +1, air upgrade as well, and those are upgrades which will just, again, immediately help out carriers. It's just things that help that transition on, and again, the Phoenix just smooth over, kind of survive it until that stage, because it does indeed keep the Zerg player very busy. Spire and a Hive coming into play now, so Nerchio continues to set up in towards the later stages of the game himself. He's not going to be deterred by whatever DnS plans. Love this. Fly in, kill the 3 workers on the gas. That's very annoying because Nerchio not only loses the drones, but he also has to take the time to pick some drones and put them back into the extract. And if you don't notice, suddenly your gas income is actually affected for the foreseeable future. Phoenix coming around the top, seeing what else they can get up to. And there is that extra Stargate and the Fleet Beacon now coming into play. And again, just as we expected this to be, this carrier is currently on the way out. Just full-on defensive setup here. Lots of shield batteries, lots of cannons. All setting up towards the front just to kind of keep DnS safe. He takes a 5th base as well. Taking the 5th base before the 10-minute marker, really just expanding at a crazy rate at the moment. I mean, that's what Nerchio's doing too, right? Taking this expansion up here. These Phoenix are a bit trapped, so he actually recalls them back home, which is intriguing. Intriguing to see what he does. I wouldn't say they're trapped. You know, they're in this kind of corner. Okay, I just won't let them out here, but he could have flown down here, and there's nothing stopping him, like, poking and seeing nothing, so then just flying out. So that's a little bit intriguing. Phoenix coming down, clean up a couple of overlords, which are currently blocking further expansions, and Well, again, I mean, if you want a passive game, beyond the Phoenix harassment, this really is it. Especially right now, because the carriers are starting to build. With an 86-second build time, it takes a while for those carriers to really hit the field. So we're going to really just have carriers coming through while Nerchio hits a Great Aspire, his own late game tech coming up and getting set to continue. Are Colossi even part of the meta right now in PvZ? We don't really see Colossi. There's a couple of players who like to add in. There's a couple of Colossus timers you can do on like 2 to 3 bases. There's a couple of builds which go into like a few Colossus and then switch out, but it really isn't the meta, I would say. There's a couple of builds which use them, but I mean, for the, you know, I'd say like 90% of the games will not see a Colossus right now, so... Again, they're still usable, as right now we do see a big drop in towards the third base. An attack of Lings at the front. That's not going to do much with the cannons and shield barriers and Zealots in position. It's the third base that really takes a lot of damage. 21 probes going down. Obviously a few Lings still left over there, so we might just see the Nexus falling as well. DnS taking some heavy hits here, as Nerchio really does strike for the first time in this game. For the most part, he's been on the defensive so far. Bane sneaks into the mineral line, +2 melee means he one-shots those those probes with Banelings. And we do have force fields there. Apparently this Hydra is, for whatever reason, left to live another day. Is able to back away up this side. So Hydra just backs off here. And we are going to see the Phoenix coming through. And Overlord getting picked off. So an Overlord going down. More Broodlords on the way out as well. 6 Broodlords coming through at the moment. More Banes and Hydras gathering together up on the top side. And these Zealots from DnS also just marching on up to the top. See what they can maybe get done next. So Zealots coming through the top side. We see a Carrion +2 air weapons currently coming in also. And a third melee upgrade from Nerchio also coming through right now. A couple more Infestors, the Burrow upgrade as well. A few Phoenix are just going to be chased away by those few Corruptors. And again, the Zealots of DnS just going to come over to the right-hand side. Trying to hide away, trying to escape this army. And so far they've done it. Keeping themselves alive. They can instead come in through and actually attack this base a little bit later. Be the harassment squad they want to be, but I think the Dropperlords just saw them, so now they have to make their move out, and well, it looks as though they're just going to have to turn and fight. Not going to be a pretty fight. I'll soak up a few Balins at the very least, which is something. I mean, it's a lot more Zealots than you'd like to lose at once. I mean, arguably you might want to trade off a few Zealots here and there to start building up more carriers, but DnS, he's even replacing Zealots, right? So he's not really in that sort of stage of the game. This is only, by the way, just 3 carriers here, so it's not really that many just yet. So just a small number of carriers at the moment, and he's still kind of getting aggressive with it. He hasn't built any more, so it looks like he wants to try and attack right now. Maybe before Nerchio just gets enough kind of anti-carrier up. I mean, for now, though, it feels like the Hydras should be enough anti-air with a few Corruptors mixed in as well to deal with this. But let's see how the fight goes. Cancels a Broodlord here. 5 Infestors are building. There's a couple Infestors already out. First Fingal Grove comes down, and here we go. Storms dropping down as well as the Lings run in. They're not going to last long at all. More Storms on top of the Broodlords. The Archons trying to move forwards. The Carriers are losing their Interceptors as they're part of these Storms. Wow, Nerchio just gets absolutely destroyed here. The Archons just push through on the ground. The Storms are very good, and even though the Carriers lost their Interceptors, now they rebuild, and DnS will just keep on pushing in. Nerchio just caught in this moment where like 5 more Infestors are in production. The 2 Fungal Groves that did come down weren't really that substantial, I feel. And yeah, his Broodlords just didn't seem to do anything either. The Lings that ran in really didn't do much either. That's a GG. DnS will take game number 1 of this series, and he away. Let's do this, guys. As we have to the top left-hand side, our red Zerg, who is currently down a map. It is Nerchio. Sponsored, of course, by Red Bull. As to the bottom right-hand side, the blue Protoss player from Cascade is DnS. Good luck and fun called at the start of game number 2. Nerf those yellow aliens, please, says Double CC. Yeah, Protoss is pretty good, man. Protoss is pretty good. But in fairness, I mean, you look at that game, and I think you just have to say DnS reached his dream army. Nerchio did a good amount of damage with the kind of harassment when he finally got around to doing it, but, you know, then you look at Nerchio's army, and it was a whole lot of... I don't know about the Infestors, I guess, is my real question. It's like, what do those Infestors really achieve? And I kind of look at them like, well, I can see what they can do in higher numbers, but when there's only 2 on the map, you just invested into 5 more, and DnS is pushing you right now. It's just such a well-hit timing by DnS. And, you know, yes, there's Broodlords up on the map for Nerchio, but as Broodlords on the map, I mean, did that really do anything? I don't think so. The Storms kept the Broodling numbers very low throughout the fight. They also hit the Broodlords quite heavily. And as that happened, I mean, we also just straight up had the scenario where the Archons just kind of kept doing with the Broodlings too, and everything else was just kind of like, you know, after the fact. Like, once the initial kind of Broodlings get pushed back, suddenly the Archons are on top of those Broodlords, and those Broodlords are in a lot of trouble. Nerchio was just missing a little bit. I'm not sure. I think just more units rather than teching so quickly, but I just don't think he was expecting DnS to be aggressive. I think he thought DnS was going to sit back and build up towards 6, 9, 12 carriers, you know, rather than attacking so soon. Well, Cybernetic's core coming in on the natural expansion, and we are going to be having that opening here from DnS looking so far exactly as you expected to. Now that we're at the 2:30 marker in the game, we sort of get to the stage where it's like, okay, now we get to maybe see what these guys are going to do next. What are they going to come up with? What is the build going to be, especially from DnS? And it is going to be a Stargate. So, last time we saw the Stargate, or the double Stargate build. This is just a Stargate, so it's a little bit more standard and a bit more of the kind of common go-to for the Protoss in the matchup at the moment. As we do just have this Adept coming up through the center of the map and looking to see just what he can get up to. Nerchio with link speed on the way out is not really doing much at the moment either. His own hatchery is on its way on the third base, so he's already getting that ready to go. And as that comes up and gets set to roll, we'll see this Adept just going to shade forwards in towards this natural mineral line where we see a few drones currently just mining away. How many of them is there? Just 7, 8? It's just getting that saturated still, so just building that up momentarily. And the simulator comes in just to the side of the Nexus now. We are having this overload just on a little bit of a wander in towards the main base. There's a Phoenix pops out to shut it down into the Oracle as well. So this is not going to be the very fast Twilight Council where he's been bypassing the Oracle, as we've seen in the earlier games against Namshar, unless it's a mind game where he kills the Overlord, cancels the Oracle, and then he goes into the Twilight. But that would be a much more, you know, be very delayed. And then Nerchio says, well, where on earth is your Oracle, right? If the Oracle doesn't show up after a little while, you start to wonder what's going on. It is a Twilight Council. Let's see if it's paired up with a Robo. Let's see what the idea is here, whether it's going to be Resonating Glaives or whether it's going to be that, yeah, Robo coming down. So much more likely than to be 2 more gateways, maybe even 4 more if you want to be very aggressive. But Charge and Temple Archives, obviously what the Twilight Council really allows you to get up now. And then eventually we usually see a Forge with this as well, depending on just how much DnS wants to be aggressive early on and how much he just wants to build up for the next little stages of the game. And you see the Oracle and the Phoenix just kind of patrolling around the outskirts. Not really finding a chance to do anything yet, but of course there's so much more potential for these units. Fly in, you lift up a Queen, and then the Oracle can go to town. And that's why Nerchio's currently bringing a second Queen towards the main in case that's the case. Then he has the Spore and the Queen to target the Oracle down with, so that kind of shuts down that attack. Also, I mean, obviously the Revelation is always something you can do as well. He comes in, and he'll get 2 drones, but again, it really is minimized by the effect of having a second Queen here. So good protection by Nerchio. And DnS just trying something that was pretty scripted in terms of what we've seen in PvZ lately. Like, people have seen this attack again and again and again. It's no surprise that someone as good as Nerchio has seen it enough times to just be so well prepared for it that it does absolutely nothing at the point of attack. I see a couple of Zerglings getting cleaned out here, and we are going to be having Phoenix and Oracle coming back down to the south. Yeah, and a few Maulings just from Nerchio at the moment coming back up top and seeing where they can go. You do see the Zealots just getting a little swipe off. And the Hydra's Den about to finish up, so Nerchio getting that Hydra Den into play. Queen is coming up here about halfway done now, and we are going to be seeing the Phoenix with the War Prism and a couple of Archons inside, looking to try and get some damage done as well. So now DnS, fairly late Nexus by the way, and that's because he did go up to 6 gateways initially. It means he'll be able to warp 6 Zealots in at a time to help those Archons. As these first Zealots move forward, they're just going to run into a lot of Ling Banes, which at the very least does buy some time for the warp in the main base. And those Archons start pushing forwards and actually going to get rid of this Overlord nice and quick. So Overlord goes down. Nerchio hits a supply block here. No more Overlords on the way, so that's actually kind of painful. As the Banes are rolling up the ramp into the Archons. Ooh, I mean, that's not pretty. A couple of them go off on a Zealot or 2, but that wasn't really what you wanted there. Not at all. Those Archons getting a lot of kills. And I mean, Banes, again, they're not cheap to replace because they do cost gas. More Zealot's going to warp in. His DNS feels as though this is going pretty well for him. Feels as though there's more potential for him here, perhaps. Pulls back just a little bit. Starts to let the units actually come up the ramp. War Prism is still here to micro those Archons as required. And still picking up more Zergling kills. The Zealot's finally cleaned up, which means time is about over for this attack. DNS has to pull away, but again, I'd say this was a success for him so far. Pulling back down the left side. Well, a couple of Archons are going to be coming back into play here and try and do a little bit more, of course. I mean, the Archons so far very impressive. 21 kills between them. Obviously a lot of kind of lower health units like Lings and so on, but that's still kind of crazy. 41 units and they've only been part of one attack so far. That's what Archons generally kind of do in these matches. They come in and they're like, yo, what's up? And they're like, oh, wow, I can get quite a lot done here. So they move in, they get quite a lot done, and they're like, woohoo. That's why they're so good. That's why those Archon drops are used so frequently. There's a reason you see it so much. So Petit Drogo coming in for the host as well. Thank you so much for the host. Unfortunately dropped out of DNS in today's tournament in the round of 8. But thanks to the host, and hello everyone from Drogo's stream. We're watching Game 2 of our grand finals here today. DNS versus Nerchio. $500 on the line, $300 for first place and $100 for second, third and fourth places. Namshaw and Stefano have already taken home $50 apiece. Hattrick gets cancelled, and we are going to see those Archons. Ooh, a little bit of a miss micro there. Maybe because he's distracted by that Ling run by in his mineral line, but it actually gets dealt with pretty easily with the Storms being used on the High Templar. But again, it costs him an Archon, that distraction of Nerchio, paying off for something there, even if he didn't get many workers killed. He also used up some of the Storm energy, which obviously makes it more, more possible moving on from here, that we see, less Storms available for a larger future fight. Another Stasis Ward coming in towards the high ground of that ramp, and this time the Archon got sent home. It's just the Zealot and the Warp Prism now. It looks as though it's going to loop around towards the main, as DNS will throw down the 4th Nexus as well to continue to expand for himself. Again, that's set up and ready to go. A couple more High Templar coming through, again just getting that energy for the Storm, maybe even just an extra Archon here and there as well. Another +1 attack upgrade finally coming through too. No upgrades so far from Nerchio either, so pretty late upgrades for the most part. As they do finish up, it will be +1 attack for each player, attack upgrade being the melee upgrade from Nerchio's point of view. So it's going to be kind of Ling Bane focused. The melee upgrade, again, always an indicator of that one, rather than, missile upgrades, which means you could still see Ling Bane Hydra, but maybe more of a tendency towards more Hydras and maybe moving towards a Lurker-Den a little bit faster, because those are the upgrades which obviously benefit from having a missile upgrade rather than the melee. Well, we're just going to be seeing the Oracle here pushed away down the right side, and a few Zealots will start to unload. Obviously with the charge, they dive in, and already some good damage onto that Queen. Just body slamming the Queen for a little bit of damage there, and we're going to be seeing the Queen does go down. Hydras coming in to get some damage done as well, and they'll clean up those Zealots, so it's nice cleanups here. 4 drones going down in the end, and just another few High Templar from DNS warped in as well. A couple of Archons start to build, +2 attack on the Forge. And again, a couple of Crypt units still just pressing forwards here from Nerchio. As we do have him with the Lings and Hydras. We'll see what else he can do. Coming around through the center of the map. And the Archons, High Templars, and Immortals from DNS. I mean, this army is very powerful. Let's not lie. It's an insanely powerful army right now for our Protoss players. He comes forward with these couple of Archons. He is going to be able to get rid of that Overlord. So an Overlord going down. Nerchio gets brought a little bit lower in supply at the moment. And we are going to be seeing, again, more of these Lings, Hydras, and Banes getting set up to go. Nerchio's at that sort of point where he's starting to get ready to start moving on the map, being aggressive. He's got the Bane speed. Oh my god, well, he's got the Bane speed, he's got the Hydra speed, but does that matter when every Bane gets cancelled by those Storms? So far, DNS is just completely controlling what Nerchio can do. And that's huge, because now the Banes don't get to fight at all. Not only that, yes, he gets the money back, that's not so bad, but it just stops Nerchio from being kind of aggressive like he would want to be. He wants to start splitting up this army of DNS. He wants to start skirmishing, taking engagements in different locations at the same time. But that's not possible if you don't have the Banes. You can't just walk in with pure Hydra. It doesn't work like that. There's a reason we don't see it in every game. There's a reason he's trying to make those Banelines. So not having the Banelines truly is a little bit of a painful experience there, as we're going to be seeing Lings, Hydras, and a Queen gathering up to get ready to push through those rocks. Pushing through the rocks, giving you the ability to open up an attack onto this base here in the bottom right-hand corner. A few more Banes being added in as well. And we are going to be seeing the Hive Tech on the way up on the natural expansion. So Hive Tech coming through. And again, these Hydras to the right-hand side, picking off a Zealot, picking off a Stalker as well. Here we go, DnS coming through the middle of the map. Banes, Hydras, Zerglings. Getting ready to try and push in towards this, come in towards this army. Here we go. I mean, the Archons are just going to be so good. Nerchio's split. I just don't know if he's able to fight this. The Lingbane Hydra is meant to be so good because it can deal economic damage. It can slow the Protoss down. It can keep them away from this dream army of multiple Archons, insane amounts of Immortals, multiple Storms. But Nerchio's not taken a single fight so far, which means he's not been able to do any of that. And that means that this army is really just so powerful right now from DnS. And that's why in this fight, he's absolutely crushing it. You can see the Lings just melt the Hydras. Well, they kind of just melt as well. Honestly, they could be Zerglings for all I care right now with the speed at which they're going down. They're not doing anything here at all. As DnS, well, his army is still looking great and pushing forwards. We are going to see those Archons going for the Overlord. We'll get that Overlord kill right now. And another Storm on top of the Banelings. Another few High Templar warping in. Another Storm on the back end of this. The Hydras have to pull away once again. And, well, again, DnS just played this perfectly in Nerchio. Again, as he wanted to try and start getting damage done, he just wasn't able to. And this is my question about Lingbane Hydra now with the double upgrades. It takes so long until you can attack because you have to get both muscular augments and then groove spines or the other way around. Does that just not take away the entire ability of being aggressive? And if that takes away the entire ability of being aggressive, does that not therefore just third and maybe last map of the day? As this is the grand finals, there's nothing else after this. It's a best of 5, first of 3 will win. And down 0-2 right now in the bottom left-hand side, our red Zerg player is Nerchio. Nerchio. And to the top right, our blue Protoss from Cascade, DnS. Guys, as this is the last game of the day, I'm just going to very quickly at the start of the game just go through a little bit of sellout, maybe for one last time. Thank you so much for obviously tuning in, of course, and don't forget to hit that follow button to see when we do go live in the future. But I'd love to talk about, of course, the fact that if you do have a Twitch Prime subscription, you can use that to subscribe to the channel for free. And that would be amazing. It helps support the channel just as much as any other sub. You get access to our brand new replay pack, over 250 replays from the last 2 weeks, and featuring players such as Zest, Stats, and many more. You also get to support the stream and the content we are making. Obviously, you can subscribe just as normal as well, so do check that out. If you want to support the stream further, support the content further, it's a great way to do so. And just go a long way to allow us to keep on running these events. As we go into Game 3, then let's see what happens with the Overlord coming forwards from Nerchio here on Blackpink. One of the standard maps, one of the maps that has been giving us so many great games lately, that will unfortunately be removed from the map pool in the near future. But we'll see what comes of it. We'll see what replacements will do. If you haven't seen that new map pool, I highly advise checking it out because it's a pretty interesting one. It's going to be interesting to see how some of the metas develop on those new maps. What's up, Towley1234? Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub. He has the Twitch Prime. He clicked the button. He subscribed for free. Now you can get those replays. Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime. Appreciate it, Towley. Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime. See some love in the chat for Tally, guys, as we get this rolling. So you just see this little adept trying to get a little bit of damage, trying to be done, trying to get it going underway. Obviously, just initial scouting here. Looking to see what's going down. A few more drones on the way up. A few more drones just building. A few seconds going to start moving out here. Nerchio just ready to deal with what could be the double adapt. But this game, DnS doesn't go for the double adapt. Also just going to be seeing the robot facility on its way up. And just going to be seeing the Lings coming around the right-hand side. Taking the watchtower and seeing what's going on. Live in the chat talking about the new map pool says, did a couple of test games on Redshift. ... I'm gonna view to Redshift. Yeah, I get the feeling it's gonna be the new Abiogenesis. I wonder if it's even worse than Abiogenesis because it's weirder in like a... Abiogenesis is weird in it's a very easy to attack map. You know, it's super small. And, you know, whereas on the other side of things, Redshift is weird in so many other ways. It's going to be very interesting. Very interesting. Alright, so getting this set up, getting this ready to go. I'm just looking to see what the play will be here, as we see a couple of adepts do just shade back up in towards that wall off. 3 more gates on the way down, with the robo facility up, reducing a prism. And there is the charge. Is this going to turn into something aggressive? I think not. I think just Twilight Council and the extra gateways. So he is going to go up to 6 gates, similar to what we've seen before. In fact, I mean, this is the same build as what we just saw in game number 2 on Acid Plan. So DnS just keeping it to the exact same for now, as you are seeing this warp prism coming down towards the bottom left-hand side of the map. So prism coming down towards the bottom left. As it arrives in here, obviously some warping potential is going to be there, and just going to be seeing the prism gets ready to warp. Just a few High Templar Archives finishes up right now, and there are our 4 High Templar now on the way, so they can morph into Archons, jump into the prism, get ready to harass. Last game we saw them picking up 40 kills with their first attack. We'll see if it'll be the same again this time around. I think it's running towards this right-hand side third base. Don't find anything just yet. So the Archons get lifted up by the War Prism again, and we're still going to be seeing those few Zerglings up on the top. Moving around here to see what else is going to go down. Prism in towards the main base then, and we do see this Queen starting to move forwards. The Archons are dropping out, and, well, a couple of Zealots start to warp in right now. Queens will target down that Prism, and it gets the shields off of it, but not much more. The Phoenix comes through to finish the Overlords. The Archons start to prioritize. Prism out of range, though, to actually save the Archons, and that's a mistake by DnS unless he gets here in time. Oh my god, clutch as heck. That is insane. He gets his way in there, and he's able to save those Archons at the last second. 4 drones go down, the Lings continue to fight here. Wow, that was pretty intense. I really thought that was goodbye Archons. Obviously now he warps in another few Zealots, so he's going to keep on this pressure. Obviously this time the Prism will not be sieged up and at a distance. It'll be here to micro with the Archons as he goes. Let's see how he does as he goes in towards the front, into the natural. Hydra's about to start popping. We're going to make this a lot more easy of a hold from Nerchio. We're going to see the Lings for now running around, trying to get surrounds on the Archons, it seems. Obviously, there's that very typical Archon lift-up micro we see so very often. The Archon's now going to drop down towards the third base instead, where they can continue to maybe get a couple of drones. But Lings and the Queen make it difficult. A lift from DnS as he backs away. Psystorm on the way up right now. Currently just being Corona boosted out. The Archon's dropping back in. Queen will go down there actually pretty quickly. He starts to get a drone or two, and again it's the Archon in the back that's kind of low, but it's the one he's being very careful about, continuing to pick it back up. Nerchio's just going to go for this. 52 drones, he's massing up units, he isn't going for any upgrades, he's not going for anything else, not even Hydra upgrades. He's just going for this 52 drone bust. He wants to win this game right here, right now, no questions asked. A recall back home, as I think DnS has sort of realized what's going on. Needs everything here that he can get. He's got a lot of stasis wards to buy him time. The first Banes get caught in a stasis ward. There's still another one as well to use. Storm is 10 seconds away. Storm changes everything in this fight, obviously. It's a massive game changer. It will deal so much damage here if he has it, and there it is. The first Storm gets rid of so many Zerglings as Nerchio is not really making much progress at the moment. Another Storm will have to be ready as the Bane's about to come out of stasis, and here he goes. Storm preemptively. Nice split on the Banes immediately from Nerchio to help to kind of minimize the damage dealt there. But Nerchio has not been able to win this with this first push forwards, and it's not going to be enough because he knows that this is an all-in push. He has no follow-up. He doesn't even have Hydra upgrades. GG. DnS takes the series in the tournament 3-0.